Alright, hi guys. I just wanted to get this out there. I've seen a couple of videos on people trying to make spiders. Um, Dahl was kind of the inspiration for this, DAHL. Um, he was very adventurous and bit off a very large project uh, and chewed it as hard as he could. And it was very inspiring. And I bought this game because I saw him try that, and am now trying to make a spider because he did. So thank you, Dole. I appreciate it for inspiring my creativity and making me lose way too many hours. Okay, so I'm building a spider, or this one I think is close to done. People who have seen me in the past, nothing's ever actually done, but this one's good enough to show off. So I think the best way to start is just a quick look at how it's constructed in general. Now, the baseline is pretty much exactly modeled after how Dahl did his body, abdomen, so on and so forth, chair in the back. What I didn't do was put all of the control boxes together in a row up front because it just became so I don't know. It was literally like trying to work with a spider's web on a spider. It became very, very confusing very, very quickly. Um, the other thing, let's swap over to the tool. As you can see, there's a whole lot going on here. And one of the things I think was complicated for Dahl is he just kind of put things down where he put things down and didn't force things into an order. So as you can tell here, I hope, this leg is all number 1 in each of the boxes. This leg is all number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, so on and so forth. And then boxes are numbered from front to back. So I have box number 1, box number 2, box number 3, box number 4, and box number 5. If I hop in this one, now I can be in any box and know that I'm affecting the front left leg, the front right leg, so on and so forth. It's very easy for me to keep track with where I am on the bot from inside any given controller. That was life-saving and sanity-saving. Yeah, it's not a perfect solution because you have to touch every box to affect one leg. So I think there's maybe a couple better ways to do this. Maybe having one controller box for every leg, but then you would have 8 boxes instead of 5. I don't know. There, I think, are easier and worse ways to do it in equal measure. I liked this one. It became easy to deal with thinking through it on paper. It does require a little more effort when it comes to actually plugging the numbers in to the unit. So take it as you will. It's not a perfect solution, but it makes it easy to plan. I feel like I've said that enough now. All right. So let's break it free, and you'll see kind of how I planned it out. It takes a second to settle in to its initial state. And I will break off that because that will get super annoying very quickly. Now, as you can see, it's kind of in a half-walking state. It is actually not in a plain initial standing state. The thing with the way these boxes work is if you set up your initial state in a neutral position, it will always cycle through that neutral position to get to the next thing. So it takes twice as many steps because you would always have to pass through that neutral position every time you cycled around, which means you need one at one end of the cycle and one halfway through the cycle, at the very least, in order to achieve symmetry through motion. that I think was one of Dahl's biggest issues. And I'm referring to his because this is the one I watched the most of. There's a couple other people who've kind of played around with it, but they didn't make as comprehensive a video. I don't want to feel like I'm leaving them out, but he's the one who actually inspired this. So I think that was kind of his stumbling block, was trying to have it set to a neutral position at the beginning and then not accounting for it being in some form of motion to begin with. So we are now in two sets here. Hold on. Let me see if I can get a better vantage point here. Ugh. Computer is having a bit of trouble keeping up while I'm trying to record and do this at the same time. Hopefully this game will get a little better optimized, because I don't have this trouble with other games. So we'll break that off again so it's not all glowy. So I don't know how easy it is to tell, but every other leg is in a forward state, and every other leg is in a backward state. I think I just pointed to those in the wrong order, but you kind of get my point. So crisscross, 2, 3, 6, and 7 are all in their rearmost state of a walking gait, and the 1, 4, 5, and 8 are all in the forwardmost repetition, forwardmost state in their locomotion. So, that being said, I think the next best thing is to just show you how it works. So from here, let me zoom out a little bit so you can kind of see what it's doing, and we will just move forward. Ooh, yeah. My computer is lagging, trying to keep up with this. Or I'm stuck in a bunch of ways. Okay, hold on. We can fix it. I think it's just a sheer gross amount of lag. Didn't have this before, but I'm also building a larger spider elsewhere on the map. So even being as far away as it is, it might be having troubles. Oops, gotta remove it. Keeping up with everything, and that was interesting. The physics are impressive in this game. They make you work for it sometimes. Alright, let's see if this is going to be a little smoother. If not, I may need to... no, nope. Not smooth enough. It hits the ground with so much force. I'm going to end up going through with a leg. Alright. We'll try this again. Give me a few. Okay, so after much ado, I figured out that, yes, indeed, if you have another spider with another, 8 times 5, so another 40 bearings, right? Bearings being controlled by controllers, but they're actually just hanging free. All of that physics will make your game really unhappy with you. So what I did was put, you can kind of tell in the background there, I put it up on the lift. Words. They don't like me for some reason today. I put it up on the lift, which locks everything and negates physics and all that stuff. So it's no longer calculating all of that stuff. Again, hopefully this game gets a little better optimized in the future, and that's not something to worry about anymore. Now, as you can see, it won't be all herky-jerky when I move forward. It's still not perfect because I'm recording, but it's okay. Now it's a little more fluid like it should be. So as you can see, I try to keep 4 things touching the ground for the most part at any given point. The front legs kind of model themselves a little more after a spider that's maybe a little more long-legged than this particular model. And the back legs do kind of a strange pushing motion that isn't quite what I would like it to be, but they do travel in more of a straight line than they otherwise would. The biggest limiting factor, I think, with this kind of thing at the moment is we are locked into 15-degree increments on any given joint. So you kind of have to deal with the fact that adding up multiple versions of 15 degrees doesn't always put your end point of your armature at the same spot. Vertically, that is. So not everything reaches the floor in exactly the same way, which the shock-absorbing feet kind of help deal with. The ones that have more weight will end up being shorter, so on and so forth. So it kind of helps itself as much as it can. And this is the off-road suspension that I'm using, so it has a lot more travel just for that case. As you can see, the back legs drop pretty drastically when they get their closer side of their gate. But yeah, this is pretty much it. It's still very slow. The second limiting factor is the speed of any given joint is pretty nerfed. Controllers don't put extra power into anything. And right now, if you want to do motors or something like that, they only travel in one direction. So you wouldn't get this articulation of motion. Maybe they'll give us a beefier electric motor amplification system? Question mark. I know that probably wouldn't be the easiest thing to program for something like this, but just giving them a little more speed or a little more power by putting a motor on there and maybe connecting it through the controller? I don't know how you would do that, like, from a programming standpoint to make it reasonable. But yeah, that's it. That's what I got. Tell me how you feel about it. Is it terrible? Is it great? Is it a ripoff? Am I just being unoriginal and following in Dahl's footsteps? I don't know. I consider myself inspired. I am making a larger version that hopefully I can get to work a little better. I think the longer lengths with the articulation might get me something that looks a little more realistic or a little more reasonable. And this one's very condensed. It doesn't seem like it because it's not a small vehicle, but it's quite condensed. There's a lot going on in a very small space, and hopefully, if I can get a larger version going, it'll just give it some breathing room. So, I'm signing off, calling it a day. I've rambled long enough. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.